Hello, everyone. Oh, sorry about that. Trying to get it here. I'm sitting somewhere I don't normally sit, downstairs instead of upstairs. Uh, Good day to you. We'll do this whole chapter of Revelation 13 later. Just a quick reminder, we did 18 already, and I'm connecting it with prophets of the Old Testament. We will be looking at some of what Ezekiel said soon, more of Jeremiah, more Isaiah 23 we will finish today. But I'm bringing you here for a very specific reason. I want to talk to you about this beast. And as you get on down here in verse 3, you'll see it's wounded, which we've been discussing that quite a bit lately. So maybe we should cover this real quick, and then we'll come back and do the whole chapter later. Revelation 13, verse 1, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea. In Revelation 17, it will reveal to you a lot of this symbology. This sea is the people, every kindred, every tongue of every nation on earth. So it's global. Okay, make no mistake about it. This beast is connected to global, what we call today globalism. You're not allowed to say New World Order. That's a conspiracy theory. Globalism, that's the accepted term. I don't care what anybody calls it. Doesn't matter to me. But here's this beast, and it comes out of every kindred, every tongue on. So yes, it can be the Communist Chinese Party. It could be some American guy. It could be somebody from anywhere. Doesn't any nation, pick one. I just threw those two out because those are the two that get mentioned the most. You could be from Russia. You could be from Africa. You could be from. Africa's a continent, isn't it? Okay, Egypt. That's a nation in Africa, the northern part there. You could be from Egypt, wherever. It doesn't matter. New Zealand, Australia, somewhere that the British Empire scattered. A lot of children of Israel got scattered. I should mention that more often. A lot of the children of Israel got scattered by the British Empire and wound up in places like Australia. And is old Pat saying everybody that lives in Australia now is a child of Israel? No, I'm not. I didn't say that. I said some of them are descendants of Israel. If you think I said something else, clean your ears out and listen. Sorry, because sometimes people cherry pick what I say and then throw it back in my face and try to make me out a liar. Well, if you don't add, what's it say at the end of this book of Revelation? Don't add to it and don't take away from it. We can all learn a great lesson from that. Even if we can be civil with each other, even if we disagree. But don't put words in people's mouths. Don't add to what they're saying, and don't diminish what they're saying. If you don't agree with it, fine. But there is no doubt that this beast is global. It come out of the sea. You have to go to Revelation 17 to dig that out, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns. It tells you in 17 these are 10 kings or 10 rulers. We don't call them kings anymore, do we? And upon the heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon, who is the dragon? That old serpent, the devil, Satan. Revelation chapter 12, and yes, we have covered that already. We covered it all the way up to the part where he gets kicked out of heaven. We're going to go back and retreat, and we're going to retreat back to it later. Because now we're reading prophecies leading up to the appearance of that old dragon. This is what brings the old dragon down right here. Verse 3, Revelation 13:3. But let's not miss this part. The mouth of a lion. He's always copying. You can't help but think of the Lion of the tribe of Judah, which is Christ. He's going to be a preacher. He's going to be a super preacher. He tempted Christ with Scripture, and he's going to tempt me and you with Scripture too. But he's a fake. He's the dragon. He looks like the lamb slain, but he speaks like the dragon. Gave him power. This is the beast. And his seat and great authority. These words you really got to dig into. If we're going to understand Revelation, we got to do a little extra work. Let's even go ahead and look at this word beast. What is it?
Strong's G 2342. Therion. Therion.
It was translated, get this, beast 42 times. Appears 46 times total. This Greek word in the New Testament. As far as I know, there's no Greek words in the Old Testament. Maybe the Apocrypha, but that's been taken out of most Bibles. So since the Apocrypha is gone, not in most Bibles anymore, you're pretty much Hebrew and Chaldee only. And there's a few Egyptian words. Let me correct myself. There are a few Egyptian words in them in the Old Testament. But this is New Testament. Venomous beast. Now, why would it have been translated that way? Who's the serpent? That old dragon, who is the devil and Satan. Revelation does a really good job of connecting it so you know that he goes by multiple names. Animal, wild beast, beast, metaphorically a brutal, bestial man, savage and furious. Okay? A dangerous animal. That's the symbology. Is it really talking about a dangerous animal, or is it talking about a political economic system? Well, it comes out of the people. The sea, which is the people. Not a literal sea like you go fishing in. But Christ used a fisherman terminology, so I hope you're following me. And gave him power. That old dragon, let's look at that. Well, let's do.
Strong's G 1404. Drakon. Drakon.
A drakon. A great serpent, a name for Satan. The great serpent. Probably from an alternative form to look. A famous kind of serpent. Dragon. Perhaps as supposed to fascinate. You know, some people are fascinated with Satan and his children. Yes, he has children. And they're on this earth. And their nest is in a high place. Numbers chapter 24. If you don't think there's any prophecy in Numbers, oh yeah. There's prophecy in Numbers too. Or Numbers 24 in particular. Pertaining to this generation right now. Verse 3, Revelation 13:3, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. You know what? I skipped something I wanted to. Let's look at great authority. Okay, so we got the devil, and he's giving this political economic beast that came up out of the people power and a seat. I said that's throne. Let's look. Let's see. Did I tell you the truth? Let's find out.
Strong's G 2362. Thronos. Thronos.
Most of the time it's translated throne. 54 of the time. 7 times it was translated seat. or a chair having a footstool. See, a throne seat. Assigned to in the New Testament to kings, hence a king, power, or royalty. Governor of the world, metaphorically speaking. The Messiah, Christ, or a false Christ, or a false Christ. This beast is not of our Christ. This beast is of Antichrist. So there it is. See? Implication, power, a seat or throne. All right. So I told you the truth, did I not? Great. Great authority. We really need to understand this.
Strong's G 3173, megas, megas.
Translated great. Kind of the English word mega comes from that Greek word. Translated loud 33 times. External, sensible appearance of things. Dimensions. Could be of something that's really heavy, of great weight. See, there's several different ways. This word can be used a lot of different ways, as you can see here on your screen if you're watching the video version. Those of you on Podomatic, welcomehome777.com. You can always go there and see the video version. And there's free study tools and other things that you might find interesting. There's some posts there. There's one about this beast. The UN, let's just look at that real quick. The UN just put up a giant statue in New York that resembles a beast described in the book of Revelation. And there it is. And I put a link to this and a brief summary of the story at my website, welcomehome777.com. And from there you can click through and read the whole story if you want to. It's up to you if you think they're mocking God. They think they are God. Use your discernment. It's true. Does this have 7 heads and 10 horns? No. But it's definitely a beast. No creature like this actually exists on Earth. And it's connected to the United Nations, as is the World Economic Forum. Are they telling us something? Are they telling us that they are the beast? Whether they're saying it or not, I'm saying it. They are the beast. And that's why we came here. So great authority. We need to look at authority. Let's do. So great, mega. That gets it said, doesn't it?
Strong's G 1849, exousia, exousia.
In a sense of ability, power. Can do as one pleases. That probably says it all. A mega one that does as he pleases. Book of Daniel says the same thing as Revelation. He speaks blasphemies, but they're marvelous things, and he destroys wonderfully. And he is successful. He can get a lot done in a short period of time. That's prophecy, so it will come to pass that way. Now, the beast. I am not saying this is the all of the beast. I'm saying this is a good starting point for your research if you want to know, if you would like to know who are players in this beast. Who are they? Well, let's go. Our partners. I want you to see this for yourself. Go in A. Let's just have a look. Well, look, there's Amazon. There'll be some familiar names. There may be some you've never heard of. There might even be some names in here you wouldn't expect. I think everybody and our brother would expect this one, wouldn't we? Apple, of course, that would be expected. But look, there's some that maybe you didn't think of. There'll be a lot of banks, lots and lots of banks. You can just go and go and go. So see where I'm at here? You can go there yourself. WEE for worldeconomicforum.org/partners. Look it up yourself. There's a good starting point. Brunswick, part of the beast. Bangor or Bangor Bank, part of the beast. Bank of America, part of the beast. Bank of China, part of the beast. Barclays, part of the beast. BASF, part of the beast. Bear. Pharmacia comes to mind when you see bear, doesn't it? Does it not? Pharmacia, translated sorceries. I believe it's Revelation chapter 18 or 19. They're sorceries. Here you go. Here's one of your sorcerers right here, children. Right here. Anybody can do this. Do you suppose Microsoft would be in here? Do you think? Let's find out. Mitsubishi is. MasterCard is. How about that? Mayo Clinic. Mm-hmm. Is the medical system part of the beast? Cha-ching! Ding, 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 ding. What do we got for him, Johnny? Yes, it's part of the beast. Moderna. Did I say Moderna? Moderna, part of the beast. MasterCard. Oh, I'm sure Microsoft is. Even if they don't list them here, you'll never convince me they're not. Am I? Oh, yeah, they're here. They're listed. Microsoft. There they are. See, it got my cursor on them. You can have a ton of fun with this. Morgan Stanley. Financial. There's another bank. So see, what is the beast? We're getting a pretty good idea. Well, Pat, it's just the World Economic Forum. Yeah, well, they're directly connected to this United Nations. They're directly connected to these guys. Okay? Same thing. I know. I'll get arguments about that too. Hey, fine. Look it up yourself. Truth is less popular than lies. It's hard to accept, but there's more people that seem to be entertained and enjoy lies than truth. And I'm sorry about that. But it's true. So now we drilled it down pretty good. I could have went on and on with that. If there's somebody you want to know, are they on there? Keep in mind, yeah, is Disney on there? Let's find out. Because they own a lot of smaller companies. I was going to make that point too. A lot of big companies, these big corporations own smaller stuff underneath of them. Keep that in mind. So either way, let's just say Disney isn't listed. Discovery is. You could bet your bottom dollar they're connected in some way with it. Well, let's look. I'm just curious. I haven't looked yet. This, I don't see it. But they own a lot. I bet you there's media companies in here too, isn't there? I'll bet you there is. Want a new house you can look at? Go to ID 2020 and look at their partners. Okay, you know what? Enough of this. I've showed you where it is. You can learn a lot. You can learn a lot from it. Fidelity International. That's the whole shot. Fullerton Health. I think I've made the point. The beast, yes. Healthcare. Pharmacia. Banking. Do you think any of these companies donate to the politicians to help them get elected? Do you think maybe? Let's pick back up. Back to the supply chain crisis, the judgment of Tarshish, those merchant ships that bring precious merchandise all over the world, and they run into a snag. They run into a pretty serious problem. And God told us why he did it. We'll do it one more time. The Lord has purposed it to stain the pride, all glory, and bring into contempt all the honorable of the earth. Bring the contempt upon them, and that is beginning to happen now. Pass through the land as a river, O daughter of Tarshish. When it says daughter of Tarshish, what would that mean? Figure of speech for the children. Children, generational, right? These people that are involved in this merchandising. There is no more strength. So when you hear me say the strength of the sea is being taken away, or the power of the sea being taken away, this is one of the places I'm getting it. No more strength. Let's look it up.
Strong's H 4206. Mezach. Mezach. Second entry. Meziach. Meziach.
Okay. Doesn't appear real often. Strength twice in girdle, which is what you gird yourself with. A belt. Yep, see? To gird yourself up. They girded themselves up before they went into battle. Strength. See? Okay. That's an accurate translation in there. It shows you the other places. It was in Psalm 109, Job 12:21, and Isaiah 23:10, which is where we're at now, Isaiah 23:10. That's the only place that occurs. If you lose your belt, what happens? Well, your pants might fall down. Would that bring you into contempt? God has a way of getting his point across, does he not? Isaiah 23:11. He stretched out his hand over the sea and shook the kingdoms. The Lord has given a commandment against thy merchant city. They added the word city here. You see it's in italics. That means it wasn't in the manuscripts. To destroy the strongholds thereof. When that happens, I like to just look at the word merchant. What Greek or Hebrew word was that? Merchant. Let's go ahead and do that. Because they added city to it. See, city in parentheses. Against the merchant was one word. City was added, they feel, to
Strong's H 3667. Canaan. Canaan.
To assist in understanding. Sometimes it does. Sometimes they do more harm than good. There's times it helps, sometimes it doesn't. The traffickers, see it? Merchants, traffickers. Translated Canaan 89 times, which means lowland. There you go. A son of Ham. Okay. Also the country, so it could be Ham. It could be Ham's son. It could be the country, and it's the same word is also used for merchant or trafficker. Okay. Proper masculine name for a son of Ham. Okay. That pretty well gets it. That gets it said. And he said, Thou shalt no more rejoice, O oppressed virgin daughter of Zidon. Remember, that means dark. Arise, pass over to Chittim, and thou shalt have no rest. Behold, the land of the Chaldeans, this people will not till the Assyrian founded it. From them that dwell in the wilderness, they set up towers thereof, they raised up the palaces thereof, and he brought it to ruin. The Assyrian is another name for Satan. The southern part was Mesopotamia. The northern part was Assyria. Eventually, the whole thing would be the stronghold of the Babylonian Empire. And it came to pass that day that Tyre shall be forgotten 70 years. told you that 70 years was also, it was used in connection with Babylon. It was also used in connection with Tyre. We looked before, remember the Chaldeans, that part was in the southern part, Babylon. Have you starting to get the impression that Babylon and the merchants and the rulers, kings of the earth are all very closely together in this system, in this beast? It is all one thing. Does the whore not ride the beast? Sit on the beast? Yeah. And it shall come to pass that day that Tyre shall be forgotten 70 years, according to one king. After the end of the 70 years, Tyre shall sing as a harlot, until God brings it to an end once and for all. And we're approaching that time. There is going to be a party when the Antichrist comes. They will make mirth. It happened during the time of Moses when he went up to get the 10 Commandments. Time he gets back down, they're having a gigantic party. And the priest is right in the middle of it. In fact, he used his own hands to fashion the false god. Kind of like they used their own imagination with the help of a mentally ill young woman in her dream, they used their imagination to fashion a big lie to make people think they're going to fly away. Take a harp and go to the city, thou harlot. Thou hast been forgotten. Make a sweet melody, sing many songs, that thou mayest be remembered. So you had 70 years she was forgot about. And think about it. During the 70 years, even in this end generation, from May 14th, 1948 to May 14th, 2018, we took this for granted. That we couldn't see there ever being a problem of, at least in this nation, my nation. It was unthinkable that you wouldn't be able to get the things you want. You just go to the store and buy it. As long as you got the money, you could. But it ain't like that now, is it? We're remembering now, oh, wait a minute. This is this merchandising is very complex. And if there's one link in the chain, the whole thing malfunctions. We'd forgotten that, children. We had forgotten that. But we've got a rude awakening to bring them into contempt. Just a little bit earlier in this chapter, to stain their pride and bring the honorable of the earth to contempt. It's also making us remember. We're remembering the merchants, and wait a minute. What happened to the good old days? And it shall come to pass at the end of the 70 years, the Lord shall visit Tyre, and turn her heart, and she shall turn to her hire, and shall commit fornication with all the kingdoms upon the world, all the kingdoms of the world upon the face of the earth. So if you have any doubt, if you ever have any doubt that it's all the kingdoms, Isaiah 23:17. And this was after the 70 years. We're in that season now, after the 70 years. And she shall turn to her hire. That would be who's paying you, would it not? And commit fornication with them. Let's look at those two words, to her hire, which is H868.
Strong's H868. Ethnan.
Hire or reward. Hire of a prostitute, the price of a prostitute. Hire of a harlot, idolatrous, Israel, Jerusalem, or Tyre. Idolatry comes in. Of course it comes into it. The false god concept comes into it. If we're not careful, we leave our first love and start worshiping something else. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 comes to mind immediately, among many, 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 many other places. Ethan, the same as H866, a gift, a price. Okay, that's it. The price of a harlot. The people paying her. Committed fornication, and there it is. It's all the kingdoms. Global trade. Fornication. Let's do it.
Strong's H2181. Zana.
Harlot, to go a whoring, whoredom, whore. Commit fornication, whorish, harlot. Commit continually, great. Whores, plural. Remember, it said in there she was the mother of harlots. Babylon the Great was the mother of harlots. So she gave birth to a bunch of little harlots. See? Yeah. To commit adultery. To be a cult prostitute, unfaithful to God. Unfaithful to God. And to cause to commit it. To force into prostitution is one of the ways this word was used. That we should all adopt the mindset, you just have to kill me. Remember old Pat's statement, old Pat's quote. You can quote me on that, or you can adopt it as your own. That's okay. You can take it and use it. You're just going to have to kill me. I'm not. I would rather have I would rather have death than to be forced into prostitution. It's unthinkable for me anyway. And her merchandise and her hire shall be holiness to the Lord. It shall not be treasured nor laid up, for her merchandise shall be for them that dwell before the Lord, to eat sufficiently and for durable clothing. Do you see what Father's telling you here? They're being brought to naught. And he's going to turn all this evil into our favor. Remember when Christ returns, did he not say, my reward is with me? They're rich now. And you look deeply into Revelation 18. And let me get this right. Ezekiel 27 also tells you they traffic the souls of men. And you look deeply into it, you'll find out they traded their souls for earthly gain. Because they're worried about this life. They're not thinking about the next life. They're just thinking about now. They didn't store any treasures up in heaven. They didn't believe in that. They just want maximum comfort now. Not taking this into consideration. Don't play the harlot. Stay faithful to God. And this merchandise, it's going to be turned into our favor. The closing, always remember this verse, 23:18. Isaiah 23:18. And her merchandise and her hire shall be holiness to the Lord. It shall not be treasured nor laid up, for her merchandise shall be for them that dwell before the Lord, to eat sufficiently and for durable clothing. When Christ returns and establishes this kingdom, we will lack nothing. Later in Isaiah it says they'll eat and still hunger. They'll drink and still be thirsty. We will lack for nothing. And there it is. Tells you right there. Is it coming together a little bit more and more and more? The Revelation is a really good summary or review of what we had learned through the prophets, through the types, from the servants of God, from Moses on, and in particular, Jesus Christ, the living Word, who had foretold us all things. He told us the end from the beginning. Genesis through Revelation. And Revelation is a fantastic summary of all these things contained. But I have to say there's a lot of additional detail in Isaiah, in Ezekiel, in Jeremiah, in the Psalms, and even in the Torah. Song of Moses has quite a bit of extra detail, which there is an older episode. Song of Moses. Might be worth, if you haven't yet, or if you've kind of forgot a little bit. I think I did it in 2 or 3 parts. You might want to go back and check that out. That's all for this time. I love each and every one of you. I hope you will. Thanks for sticking with me. Until next time, bye-bye.